Hey, Blue Table fans, Spencer here, and welcome to part 4 of our UCM Tips and Tactics series. In this video, we're going to be discussing the assorted other land units the UCM can bring that aren't infantry. So in this video, we'll be discussing the Wolverine, the Longbow, which is a new unit, the Bear APC, the Kodiak Command unit, and the Phum class drone base, which is another new unit. All of these have very different purposes on the battlefield, and they all do their own thing very uniquely. The Wolverine is very much a fast attack, the Longbow is a stationary artillery unit, the Bear is an APC, the Kodiak is your command unit, and it's basically just a bear with a trailer, and the Phum releases little drones that kill everything. But let's start with the wee little Wolverine. So this is the Wolverine light attack vehicle. It comes in two variants. You have variant A, which has the little minigun turret, and then you have variant B, which has missile launchers. Stat wise, they're exactly the same. Armor 6, movement 9, active countermeasures, 1 damage point. A type A is 18 points, a type B is 16 points. They are scout categories, so you can fit them into certain areas of your army, but they're going to be a little trickier to get in. And they have squad size of 4, 6, or 8 models with standard coherency. Now, the Type A has the Punisher minigun, and this is your anti-aircraft variant, because this has the AA rule. It's energy 6, 1 shot, 3 up accuracy, 36-inch free range, 12-inch countered range, 9-inch move and fire, so it can move at full distance and still shoot. And it's on a turret, so it's front, side, and rear. Like I said, it has the AA rule. So it doesn't hit particularly hard, but these are a very fast way of getting some AA where you need it if you can't pick something up with a dropship and move it around. They're a lot faster than a rapier tank, but they're lightly armored, so they're going to die pretty easily as big stuff starts shooting at them. But against similar vehicles, they fare pretty well. But like I said, their main advantage is their speed. Able to move 9 inches and still shoot is pretty impressive, especially with AA, because you have 8 of these guys in a squad and you can just kind of bum rush your opponent, and it gives you a very quick board denial unit. It's not going to hit very hard, but energy 6 is all you really need to take down most dropships. And you're not getting a lot of shots. It's not like bringing a rapier where you're getting a ton of shots out of a squad, but 8 shots out of a squad of these guys isn't bad. The other option is the Type B, which has the missile launcher. And the missile launcher is energy 8, 1 shot, accuracy of 2+, 36-inch free range, 12 or 9-inch countered range, move and fire 9, so it can still move its full movement. And it's also on a turret, and it has the shape charge rule. So no matter what it needs to damage something, to do damage, a 6 will always count as doing damage. So these guys can hit heavier stuff. They are a harasser unit. And frankly, both variants are. Just they serve different roles. So you have your AA harasser, and then you have your tank harasser. And again, their advantage lies in their speed. If they don't take out what they're going after, and you can't get away, they're probably going to die in the next round of fire. But they do their job, and they do their job quite well. And these guys can take the Raven Type B dropships, and each of those can carry 2 of these little guys. So the Wolverine's pretty basic. Like I said, it's just a harasser unit. Its entire purpose is to drive around and just kind of heckle the enemy a bit. But they do their job well. They're fast, they can hit fairly hard. You just have to use them with a bit of finesse. Alright, so next up we have a very unique unit. This is the Longbow howitzer. And these are unique in the sense that no other army has something like this. This is a strictly UCM kind of thing where they have immobile artillery cannons, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this sort of stuff. And you don't see a lot of it in sci-fi. Everything's very mobile, especially in Drop Zone. Everything kind of is always on the move. But these are a very cool unit. Stat-wise, they are armor 7, movement of 0, active countermeasures, 1 damage point. They're 30 points a model. They take up a support category, so you have a lot of choices to fit them in an army. They come in squads of 1 to 4 models, standard coherency, no special rules. At least no generic special rules. They have special rules in their weapon, which can fire 3 different methods. There's armor piercing, which is an energy 10, 1 shot, accuracy 2, free range is infinite, 24-inch counter range, move and fire 0, obviously, and a front arc, and it has indirect fire. So it can shoot up and over buildings and stuff like that. It can also do fragmentation, which is energy 8, 1 shot, 2 up accuracy, infinite free, 24-inch counter, move and fire 0, forward arc, which is indirect fire and a medium template, which is pretty awesome because it means you can lob shells over buildings and still hit units of stuff behind it, which gives you quite an advantage, especially at energy 8. You're going to be able to hit clumped together groups of tanks or walkers or what have you. Its last option is Smart Smoke, which has no energy. It's 1 shot, 2 up accuracy, infinite free, 24-inch counter, no move, and this can fire front, side, and rear. And that is not being shot out of this so much as I believe it is out of like little ports on the body there. And it has the smoke rule, and the Smart Smoke is actually pretty cool, and it's indirect fire as well. Basically, so successful hits affect the entire squad. Weapons fired by units in the squad, which are hit with the Smart Smoke, suffer a +1 accuracy, but weapons being shot against them suffer a +1 accuracy as well. The effect is cumulative up to a maximum of +2, and it stays in play until the Longbow's next activation or until all the Longbows are destroyed. So it's a pretty cool little defensive move that you can do, especially if you have multiple squads of these, because what you can do is you can deploy them sort of spread out across the table and have one firing smoke and providing cover to your other units while the other bombards your opponent with fragmentation shells. So you have a couple options when using these guys. Like I said, they have indirect fire, so they can shoot over stuff, they can shoot at stuff they can't see. So if your opponent has stuff hiding back here behind this building, like say an APC, and they've got infantry in here grabbing an objective, you can still lob shells over the building and onto that APC and take it out, which of course makes it hard for the infantry to escape because their transport's blown up. Alternatively, you can park them in an intersection like this and just control that entire section of board, because now you've got these artillery cannons that are just going to be able to shoot either energy 10 shot and just hit their target, or they're going to shoot an energy 8 shot with a medium-sized template. So enemy tank units coming down this road are going to be a little susceptible to being shot apart. They're either going to get picked apart one by one through individual fire, or they're going to be hit with a template, which really makes these guys pretty useful in my opinion. They have the disadvantage, of course, that they can't move, but you have a lot of options when firing with them, especially if you have a second unit of the things. This is, like I said, where you can sit here and these can lob either smoke or shells, or these could lob smoke or shells, and you kind of have these options. So one of these can be providing cover for themselves or for your advancing tank units, and this other one can just be a constant bombardment of shells down this road, or really anywhere else in their front arc. The problem with that being that because they have only a front arc of fire, you do have to position them correctly to get the optimal lanes of fire for them. But they can still do a job, and they can do it well. So the Longbow is a pretty cool unit in that it has a pretty decent amount of versatility for something that can't move. Now you can load them up into Raven B dropships and move them around as needed, but frankly, if you can get them into a good position from the get-go and find a good spot where they're going to be able to cover a decent chunk of table, especially where objectives are, and you can kind of sit there and bombard enemy APCs and tanks that are trying to get to the objectives, these things can end up doing quite a bit of damage. And if you can get them where they need to be right away, they're going to do the job, and they're going to do the job well. All right, so here we have the Bear APC, which is the Armored Personnel Carrier available to the UCM. These guys are pretty standard little APC. There's nothing super exciting about them. Armor 8, Movement 6, Active Countermeasures, 2 damage points each, which is not bad actually. And they're only 16 points a model. They don't have any special rules, and their squad size and all is based on the squad that's in them, because they're transports. They aren't completely defenseless either. They do have a little Gatling gun up there. It's your standard UM5 Gatling, energy 3, 4 shots, 4 up accuracy, 24-inch free, 12-inch countered, move and fire 6. It's on a little turret, so it's front, side, and rear, no special rules. The Bear's kind of tricky to talk about because it's just a little transport. It's not like a Shaltari Haven Terragate where you can pop guys in one and out another. This is attached to its squad. And every infantry squad in the UCM can take these. So a Bear can carry 3 bases of Colonial Legionnaires or Praetorian. You can carry 4 stands of the Praetorian sniper teams. They take up a lot less space, so you can get 4 of them into one of these guys. And then these can be mounted up in various transports as you see fit. Like I said, not a lot to talk about, but it is a neat little design. Very reminiscent of the APC from the Alien franchise. I think it's kind of cool. Little 8-wheeled Doom truck. So yeah, that's the Bear APC. You put your dudes in it and get them where you need to go. Lightly armored, but it's cheap, and it has 2 damage points. So if you can keep it protected and you can keep them out of the line of fire, a Bear is going to do what you need it to do. It's going to be able to get your guys to and from the objectives pretty easily. And if you can keep its parent dropship alive and make it do wheelies, you can definitely use these guys to max potential. Alright, this is the Kodiak Armored Command Vehicle. This is the command choice for the UCM. It is basically a Bear with a trailer. It doesn't have transport capacity. Instead, it's got this command suite in it with this sweet radar dish on the back. So stat-wise, it's armor 9, movement of 4 inches, so it's a wee bit slow. Active countermeasures, 4 damage points. It's 108 points base. That doesn't include any upgrades to different commanders. Command category, its size is, or squad size is 1, has no special rules. Now you might notice that it is not armed with the little Gatling gun the Bear is. That is because the Kodiak has its own really awesome weapon ability. And that is where this radar dish in the back comes in. It can do a tactical orbital strike. Energy 13, 1 shot, 2 up accuracy, infinite range, so it can hit anywhere on the table. Move and fire 0, so you can't move and do it. Front, side, and rear basically has like a turret. Indirect fire, and has a special rule called Call It In. And basically, the orbital strike suffers a +1 penalty to its accuracy value to a maximum of 6+ if fired against the target which is moved this turn or last turn. You can't target infantry that are inside buildings, but you can target the buildings. So this is really good against stuff that's just kind of sitting there. If your opponent has, say, an ocelot that hasn't moved in a while, call down a bombardment from space. Blow it up. Energy 13 hits hard. It does have the disadvantage that it's only 1 shot, but it is a 2 up accuracy. And the ability to hit anywhere on the table is really, really awesome. And other than that, the Kodiak isn't really going to do much. You're going to want to keep it alive, keep it at the back of the board. It doesn't want to get right up in the fray. Its ability to hit anywhere on the table means that you don't have to move it, which is huge. Because it means if you want it to fight, you don't have to get it up there, in the line of fire of enemy tanks that are going to be gunning to take it out. So it has a huge advantage there. 4 damage points, armor 9 is very respectable. If it does get shot, it's going to be hard to kill, and it's going to take a little while to take it out. Its disadvantage, again, it's slow and moving only 4 inches. I mean, not super slow, but it's not going to be getting away super fast. and it can't move and shoot the orbital strike. So you have to sit still to do it, and you're going to want to target stuff that's sitting still for maximum effect. But the Kodiak, I mean, yeah, it's just it's tricky to talk about. It's not like Coyote, where, you know, it's got Gauss cannons and it's a walker and it can do the little eject thingy and then all this and that. This is just, you plop it down at the back of your field, and then you tactically bombard stuff all day, every day. That is what a Kodiak does. You keep it at the back where it's going to stay alive, keep some AA around it so that your opponent can't just fast move or strike the thing, and you'll be fine. You'll be able to be sitting back there drawing cards and calling in tactical strikes. And lastly, we get to the new UCM unit, the Phum class drone base. This is, well, it looks like a sandcrawler from Star Wars, right up until you do something really cool with it. Boom. Now it's this huge mobile command center kind of thing. And there's some detail in there if you want to take a look. This thing is awesome. It launches drones that it uses to harass things, because it doesn't really have its own weapons. I mean, it's got a couple. It's got some guns you see there, and it's got these missile pods. But what it really does is launch drones. Alright, so stat-wise, this guy's armor 7, movement 3. Does not go anywhere very quickly. Active countermeasures, 5 damage points, 160 points model. It is a support category. They come in squads of 1 with a standard size cohesion, which doesn't really matter. And they have the special rule drone base. So what this does is, during its first activation, it can release a squad of up to 8 Star Sprite drones. If it's destroyed, all the drones on board and those deployed are instantly destroyed as well. In subsequent activations, it may replenish up to 4 losses from the drone squadron by deploying new ones at the start of its action. So basically, it shoots out 8 little drones, and then it can constantly refresh that squad when it takes losses. And that's awesome. You can only ever have 8 on the table at once, but you effectively have a squad that's just going to keep coming back until somebody takes this guy out, which is going to take a bit of work. Now, like I said, this does have its own weapons as well. It has 2 UM5 Gatling batteries, one on the left and one on the right there. They're pretty standard. Energy 3, 4 shots, 4 up accuracy, 24-inch free range, 12-inch countered, move and fire 3, so it can move its full speed and shoot. But, I mean, it's not very fast. And then it's got front and side arcs. It also has the point defense launchers, which are its missiles. And these are energy 6, 2 shots, 3 plus accuracy, 36-inch free range, 9-inch countered range, so they're a very short-range weapon. Move and fire 3, full front, side, and rear arc. And they have the AA rule, and they have the shape charge rule. So this thing has a way of defending itself against incoming strike fighters and stuff, which is very, very handy, because it means you don't have to keep a lot of dedicated AA units around it to ensure its survival. It's probably a smart idea to keep at least something nearby, even if it's just, you know, like a Wolverine squad or something. But having the ability to shoot down AA, or shoot down aircraft at least, is pretty handy. Especially with the shape charge rule, means they're always going to be able to damage stuff on a 6. So like I said, the Phum can deploy these little Star Sprite drones, and these things are pretty nasty. They're only armor 3, so they can get shot down pretty easily, but you can constantly replenish them out of this thing. They have a 30-inch move. Active countermeasure is only 1 damage point. They are categorized as scout, but you don't actually pay for them. They don't have a points cost because they just come out of this guy. Squad size is 8, standard cohesion, no landing zone, and then they have the rules Cloud and Tiny. Now, the Cloud rule is under their cohesion. It's cloud formation, so basically what it does is any AA weapon with multiple shots firing against the squadron of Star Sprite drones Incoherency may allocate each shot to separate targets within the squadron. Basically, these guys fly so close and in such a tight formation that stuff shooting at them can kind of pick them apart. They also have the tiny rule. They always count as destroyed in the air. Destroyed. They're just too small to make a difference if they crash. These have a pretty interesting weapon called the UM-110 Golden Arrow. It's energy 6, one shot, 3-up accuracy, 24-inch count, or 24-inch free range rather, 6-inch counter, move and fire 15, so they're still very fast, front arc, and it has AA and focus 4. Now it can't reaction fire, but it can shoot down aircraft. And what focus does is when the squad shoots, if multiple models in the squad hit the same target, you can discard extra hits to up the power of one of the hits by whatever the focus ability is. So if these 3 guys all shot at the same thing, so let's say you find yourself in this scenario and you've got 3 of these guys and they shoot at a fire drake. All 3 of them hit, let's say. You can then discard the 2 hits from these guys to give it plus 8 energy to the 1 shot that you left. Now these are already energy 6, so stuff like fire drakes aren't going down super easy against them, so you have options. You can sort of focus fire, not using the focus rule, but sort of barrage it with fire, especially if you have 8 of them, and hope for the best. Or you can sit there and you can just hit it with a couple of really high powered shots. That makes these little guys extremely dangerous. Plus the fact they have a move and fire 15, they can move really far and still shoot your stuff. Now, granted, they have to get within 6 inches to shoot something that has countermeasures. That's their big downside. They have to get close, and if they fail to kill their target's going to kill them, provided it has weapons. If it was something like a Shaltari Gate that has no weapons, you know, they're fine. But going after something like a Fire Dragon or a gunship of some kind, they're going to run into issues if they don't kill their target. But that still makes these little guys very versatile and very dangerous, because they can zip around the board and they've got a lot of potential to harass enemies, take out drop ships, and really slow down the opponent's army. So yeah, the Phum is a really cool unit. It's got a lot of versatility. The model is just awesome with its little fold-up thing, but it's got the ability to defend itself from light vehicles as well as anti-aircraft weapons that it's armed with. And the drones are great. Having 8 of them out on the table and being able to replenish them, so long as you keep this guy alive, is pretty big. It does mean you have to keep this guy alive, and his armor isn't super high, so somebody really gunning for him who doesn't want a bunch of these buzzing around killing stuff is going to go after it. They're going to gun for it, they're going to try and take it out and get rid of the drones instantly. But if you position it well and you keep it protected, like I said, even if you just keep a squad of 8 Wolverines around it, you've got a chance to keep it alive. And you've got a chance to have this constantly replenishing little swarm of drones flying around the table and just shooting down enemy dropships. Essentially, your opponent's going to have to either go after the drones, which are going to keep coming back, or go after this. Otherwise, these things are going to take out dropships, and they're going to cut your opponent's mobility drastically. So yeah, the Phum is a pretty wicked unit, and I really like it. So there you have it, folks, the miscellaneous land units of the UCM that are not infantry, at least. So, like I said, they all serve their own purpose, they all do their own thing, and they're all pretty useful. The Wolverine is a great little harassing unit, and you have variety between missiles or anti-air. The Longbow is just really cool in that it's a big, heavy artillery piece that if you bring in the right size squads. I don't know if I'd bring one giant squad, but 2 squads of 2 seems to work pretty well. You have a lot of options with them because you do the energy 10 shot, or you can do the fragmentation rounds, or you can do smoke. So you can really do a lot with these guys. They really do board control very, very well. You have the bear, which is basic APC. The Kodiak is great if you keep it alive. Like I said, keep it at the back of the table and it'll do you just fine. And then the Phum is just really cool because you can sit there and just spam little drones and not care about your opponent's well-being at all, which makes it a very useful unit. Like I said, each of these has their purpose. I would say pick up a couple of each. You have a lot of options with UCM outside of just tanks. So I highly suggest picking up a couple of these, even if you're just picking them up because they're cool models. The Phum and the Longbow are both really awesome looking. But like I said, these are pretty much essential in an army because you need these to move infantry around. You could get Raven type A dropships and load guys into there, but the bear is really the easier way to go, and you get these in a starter box. And the Kodiak you're going to need because you need a command unit when you start playing higher points games if you want to start drawing cards and stuff like that, because the cards really do add a lot to the game and they're a lot of fun. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Be sure to stay tuned for part 5 of our UCM tips and tactics, which will be the final video in this series, where I'll be discussing UCM infantry. If you would like to get an awesome Drop Zone Commander army painted up by Blue Table Painting, send an email to projects@bluetablepainting.com. Talk to Steve, he'll get you prices, he'll get you hooked up, and we can get you an awesome looking army just like this in no time at all. Don't forget to check out our web store at bluetablestore.com. We have the pre-built armies that Hawk Wargames offers, which you can get painted up through us as well. And we also have a pretty decent selection of secondhand Drop Zone Commander armies. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter as well, and I will see you guys in the next part.